Thank you. Thank you, everybody. I know it's late afternoon with heavy lunch, so I'll try and keep this light and simple. 30 slides, let's try and get this fast forward. So, as I just mentioned, how to make AI work for you. I think you hear a lot of the whole AI ecosystem. There's a lot that's going to be the GPU, database, the large language model. Creating an AI, application is not easy, right? There's so many different moving parts. Make sure that you do a really right. So, today I'm trying to attempt how to, from at least a very basic level, how to create, AI solution that's really, really effective for you, whether you use it for your customer or using for your own company use. So really quick, simple, 3 things to take away for you to remember this. I'll do a quick introduction on Neo4j, and I'll speak about the common challenges of GenAI. You probably heard what I mentioned in the call earlier about some of the challenges about GenAI. I'll reiterate some and hopefully go into details. And then last but not least, I'll talk about how to make GenAI solution work. So the next, I'm not going to spend a lot of time introducing. So Neo4j. So I have a lot of people coming to me and say, who is Neo4j, right? Why Neo4j? There's a whole story behind. You can spend some time with me after this session. I'll tell you some story. But we are basically originated from a Swedish company. And if you know, we are about 14-year-old company. Neo4j database has been around for about 14 years. We are open source. As you can see, there are hundreds of millions of downloads and millions of the developers around the world. So it's a technology that has been widely adopted by a lot of customers and developers around the world. Why do we need another database, right? Why you say, Hubert, I've been using a lot of database. Why do you need another database? Well, you take a look at what the database you have today. The RDBMS, the SQL that we use have been around since pre-internet. Not pre-cloud, but pre-internet, right? So a lot of solutions you see, like today database, very much is about storage and retrieval. And this is just not good, right? But today, there's AI, retrieval, and all the challenges. The database enough is just not good enough. It's just, at a basic level, it's just not fast enough as well. That's why you need something that is much more adaptable to the modern world. And we did that well, right? Today, you look at all the Fortune 100 companies. The big banks in the world are using Neo4j. Insurance company, a lot of big insurance companies are using Neo4j as well. And you ask yourself, why automakers are using Neo4j? Right today, EV on the road, right? It's basically one huge IoT on it. It generates a lot of data, right? You think about today driving on a car, but every signal that the car is emitting, the manufacturers are collecting those data. It's becoming a data to understand the driver, the behavior of the driver. Going forward, how they're going to transform. It's a totally different industry altogether. You think that buying car is just a big machine that you buy out, that grew out from the showroom. Think again, in the future, it's about how to sell software, how to understand you driving, be a much better driver with the data that they collect. And why Neo4j and AI? Right? Look at this. So don't believe it, believe Gartner, right? We're saying that today a lot of discussion on AI central around understanding data, and that's why graph is a big part of the discussion, right? For that specific reason, right? Because data, Neo4j, we are able to connect relationship a lot faster, and we just generate a lot faster. You cannot ask AI a question and wait for it like 10 minutes for it to reply, right? It just doesn't. Jason showed this slide before. One of the good reasons about Neo4j adoption is this, right? We don't seek to replace any system that's available out there. We complement whatever system you have available. If you're running a database itself, already running a database, we complement that, right? We stream the data into Neo4j, we do the analytics, and we stream it back, right? Everything it's very seamless. And today, we work very seamlessly in Alibaba ecosystem as well. If you're using Alibaba Max Compute, that's not a problem. We support you. If you're using the LM model, then we're fully supportive as well. So again, very well connected in the Alibaba ecosystem. The common challenge of GenAI, right? So let me just quickly. So you saw this. I'm not sure it's in this slide. I mentioned this: the left brain and the right brain. Right? The human brain is structured, constructed such that the right brain is the creative one, right? The one that will give you the language capability. It gives you the creative capability, right? And this is exactly what LLM is about, right? You're able to, if you send a big document to LLM, they're able to summarize it very easily for you. But can they tell you the fact? It is not. So this is the right side, the left side of the brain, right? Similarly, the brain is structured in such a way. Your right side, is able to be very, very creative, while your left side is able to give the factual stuff, right? When you go to math class, mathematics class, 1 + 1 is equal to 2. It's stopped here. If you're learning languages, it's stopped here, right? Similarly, so remember this slide, I'm going to share a comparison, but this is, again, LLM is very good at language, statistics, and creativity, right? Today, you ask your LLM and ChatGPT to come up with something, to create a poem, right? You're able to do it very, very simply. But can you ask LLM to say, can you make a report and tell me what is what is possibly my projection for financial result for next quarter? You can't do that, right? That's not LLM's job. It maybe can create something hallucinating and tell you, right? Again, this is not what LLM is all about. Today, if you look at all the financial report around the world, all the C-suite, the number of mentions of GenAI is very, very prevalent, right? Everybody's talking about GenAI and how it's going to be the next transformation of the business. So obviously, this is a very important topic in all the enterprise world, right? And these are the common challenges you face, right? If you're developing an application, GenAI is a pronunciation, right? Everybody know what GenAI pronunciation is all about, right? When you ask GenAI a question, you reply something that is really real, right? You think it's real, but it is not. Again, if you're developing like a chatbot for fun, that's not a problem. But if you're developing an application for your customer base, you cannot have that, right? Again, I use the example of this. If you're a financial guy and you're reporting financial results, you cannot have if or buts. You cannot have some LM create some creative ideas for you, right? It's just not possible and just not acceptable in the finance world. Accuracy as well. Accuracy. Again, LLM is not written. Do not exist to make accurate results for you. They're just creative, but they're not facts. Recency and bias. Again, there's a lot of bias in the way you train the model, right? You heard about some chatbot that will train. You don't spend enough time. They become very, very biased. And that's something that you can't have it as well. Privacy and security is another concern as well. You have seen that before, right? Some big enterprise, upload the data and it became available around the world. Again, privacy and security is something that AI can help you to. Transparency is the one that I want to mention as well. Basically, a lot of people don't know. When you ask a question to AI and ChatGPT, do you know where the answer comes from? Nobody knows, right? Because basically, I just give you a result, right? You ask them a question, they give you an answer. But you ask them, where do you get it from? There is no way for you to know. Again, if you're developing an application for your own company, for your own user, you must be able to tell them where the data comes from. Because you need to do the due diligence, make sure that the data is correct, right? But unfortunately, with LLM today, we can't do that. And we have a very good comparison. So ChatGPT, everything, it does everything, right? It learns random sentences, right? And from random people, and just, summarize it. It talks like a person, and it occasionally speaks absolutely nonsense, right? Just like a parrot. But at least a parrot is cute, right? ChatGPT is an application. The big question is it, right? How can you build an application that is domain specific, right? LLM, again, is very, very generic. If you're a finance company, if you're a logistics company, how can you create LLM that's very, very specific to your industry, right? More importantly, right? How can it be contextual, right? Every company is different, right? The secret sauce is the experience and the data that you have within your organization. How do you put that into something that you can generate into the LLM report, right? Or in the general LLM response. Again, this is something that the generic LLM solution cannot do for you. Today, one of the best way to do, obviously everybody knows about RAG. Basically it uses, RAG to draw data from the database. So that is still okay, right? Because today, LLM very much uses vector search, which I'm going to talk about later. But what it is what it does is reduce hallucination and give you verified, at least it gives you verified data. And in some form, right, it still gives you very specific domain-specific data and relevant response. And it still gives some traceability back. But again, there are a lot of limitations to this. First of all, if you ask a question like this, right? Again, if you ask like, a simple question like this, who is Darth Vader? Darth Vader is Luke Skywalker. But, right? Today you get this on Google search, right? Very, very specific. It's a keyword search. But what you want to do is this, right? You want to know much more than just answer. So you need a semantic search, right? How Anakin, if you ask Darth Vader, they want to predict what you want to ask next, right? How Anakin Skywalker became the Dark Force, right? The impact of Sith Lord on the Galactic Empire. Star Wars fans here, right? Everybody knows Star Wars, right? Okay, so I'm going to go explain who's Darth Vader. The complexity of Luke Skywalker parentage. I mean, these are things that semantic search, right? You expect LM to give you, and you expect, a RAG to deliver this kind of result, right? This is the ideal result. And this is what it does, right? It does, if you guys know about LM, it does vector search. So vector search, if you are, if you're a math student, you know that it uses similarity formula, right? The closest between the two nodes together, right? To give you the best similarity. But again, it is very good, right? LM has deployed this very, very efficiently. You see, this is the best deployment of similarity we've seen. Neo4j is a data science company, but we've seen the best deployment of data science that have been deployed in the last couple of years. And today you have vector search that does it to store data, to store the similarity, the result chunks, to store into vector search, vector database. So this is really good as well. If you're doing RAG, this is something that you probably could deploy. The problem is this, right? Vector only give you certain information, right? Like just beyond the metadata, it doesn't give you a lot of other context. The other thing is that the critical, miscritical context. Again, if you do like how it does is in vector search, right? You have apple, orange. It basically tells you they're very close. You have fruits, but again, it doesn't provide you additional context, right? Whether does oranges give you vitamin C? Does apple give you vitamin D? It doesn't say that, right? Again, it doesn't do. What it does is these two are very similar. Similarly, right? When you ask a question LM, that's how they pair up the two answers to you to give you the similar answer. Again, it doesn't give you the right context. It doesn't give you the right response. So, that's why I say that it's the vector similarity and relevance, that is something the vector similarity is not equal to relevance. Again, if you ask a question and do for search, apple and oranges, they are fruits, but are they relevant, right? You cannot find that, it's not possible with LM today. And explanatory, it goes back to the same question, right? If you do a search, can you bring out explanatory? Why are you recommending apple instead of orange? It cannot give you the explanation. It can give you the recommendation, but not the explanation. So how to make GenAI solution for you? So what we do is we recommend to build a knowledge graph, right? With Neo4j, you can build a knowledge graph. Today, everything is connected, right? What about Neo4j database is that all databases are connected. The great example is this, right? I was just talking to somebody outside there, right? Like between two persons, right? We could be staying in the same condo, but nobody knows, right? But with graph, you're able to chart it out very easily. Again, if you are, for example, if you do a search for two actors, are they acting in the same movie? Again, these are things that you must know the question before you can do the search. But with graph, all this is all presented within the graph itself. That is why a lot of contextual, a lot of relevancy is able to be, because we're able to store it in the graph database. And we recommend a customer that if they want to build a knowledge graph, if they want to build a GenAI RAG application, the best way is to store all the data in the graph database. so that they can have contextual, they can have connected relationship connected between the two data. So what does knowledge graph give you improvement, right? First of all, it improves accuracy. Again, we talk about database, being very, very accurate. If you do search on vector, again, it's just similarity. Again, keyword means similarity, right? It's not accurate. So if you want a very, very accurate way to get the database, you have to store it in a way that the LM can retrieve it and understand that it's actually accurate. The other one, obviously, is deploy confidence, right? Once you have the database, you don't have to worry about hallucination, you don't have to worry about irrelevancy, because everything is managed within your own knowledge graph. And of course, not innovation, right? With, if you're not worried about, getting a lot of mistakes, you can unlock innovation to develop more LLM-based solution. Again, accuracy, right? LLM can, if you read the word, the LLM can generate more accurate response by connecting. But with graph, right, we're able to map it out for you, right? Accuracy is not good enough, but we're able to map it out for you. I think this is what knowledge graph is able to deliver beyond just similarity. Relationship or database, and like, these are some of the more technical terms I want to bore you with. You come to me after this. I know it's after lunch, but again, accuracy, it's something that knowledge graph is able to do. Specificity, right? And this is very, very important, right? Again, LLM is what we call a general model, right? A general AI, right? A generative AI. It is what it is, right? Very, very generic, right? It doesn't have specificity, right? It is not a finance model. It is not a logistic model, right? If you're in a very specific industry, it doesn't give you the specificity, right? We spoke a lot about domain-specific, not domain. I think Jason was just touching a bit. I was just talking to him before this. Like domain-specific LLM, right? It's something the next level that you want to do. The next generation of LLM probably will do that. But for now, to give you specificity, you need to build it yourself, right? To hedge against whatever position or edge that you don't have on LLM. Security and privacy. Again, I mentioned that this a lot, right? If you use LLM today, right, there's a lot of challenges. Like I mentioned, there's so many stories here out there. Right? First of all, data being uploaded into the web or into the internet, or you create a RAG application, you realize that the same data set that your CEO can see, the janitor can see as well. That is not good, right? Again, this is something that you need to make sure that you deploy that as well. Security and privacy. Beyond internal is one thing, but if you're in the healthcare, you immediately run the file with HIPAA, right? If you're doing consumer service, there's PDPA, there's GDPR, right? Again, these are things that you'd want to run the file with, right? So again, when you want to build application, make sure there's security and privacy solution that you deploy there. Reliability, of course, you need a big database, right? Again, running this, I mentioned earlier about graph being very, very fast and being very accurate. Again, if you want to develop an application, if you're developing the most basic of GenAI application, chatbot, right? You don't want to answer something that the customer come in and ask question and give the wrong answer, right? And you want to be slow as well, right? So this is something that is really, really important. Make sure that if you deploy a solution, it needs to be very, very reliable. And explainability, right? Again, you are in the business. If you're in data science business, right? 1 + 1 is equal to 2, right? You cannot have 1 + 1, maybe 3, maybe 4, right? That's LM. That's a solution for you, right? Again, you need explainability. If you present a result to your CEO, if you present something to your manager, right? You need to explain how this data come about, right? LM today cannot provide you with that, right? You need to make sure that whatever data, whatever application, you build that rack that you want to do, you need to make sure you back it up with explaining. This data comes from this source. This data comes from that source, right? That is, due diligence in building a really, really good app. So again, make sure that you have explainability as well. Again, so just to do a chart, we have deep a lot of report. If you do just factor effectiveness again with graph, RAG, definitely the performance is a lot better, right? Some of the benefits I mentioned about reliability, specificity, speed, explainability, all comes with the value of building the graph, right? So final takeaway, right? Context, explain, accelerate. If you want to build those apps, remember this, right? You need to give context. Again, you cannot just build an app and show the CEO and say, this is the truth, right? You need to explain it, right? You need to give context and explainability. And you need to accelerate, right? You need a solution, you need a database. If you hear me earlier in the main hall, I will explain to this. Today, 90% of your database are unstructured, right? How to bring this unstructured data in a way that your GenAI can start to use it as well. I think this is really, really important. And this is one way to accelerate to ensure that you accelerate the application. And remember this slide, I showed you this, right? So it's the same, right? GenAI is all about language. But the brain is GenAI, right? It gives you the language. You ask ChatGPT to come up with a poem for you. You come up with a poem for you. But can the ChatGPT come up with something like, can you forecast for my next financial result? It cannot do that, right? It gives a gibberish result, right? Again, this is something that is, and I would say it's a secret sauce for you, right? Nobody has that other than you, right? The database in your company, that's where your secret sauce is. So you need to make sure that this is accessible in the correct way for LLM, so that when you build the RAG, you're able to create that secret sauce, right? To differentiate you from your competitor or some other guy who create the GenAI application. Because don't forget, they're using the same LLM model, right? How do you differentiate from them? It's your own data, right? Again, this is something that we do. To summarize it, again, knowledge graph is the best way to do this. Have a central retrieval knowledge system so that you're able to get it, so that when you develop application for RAG, you're able to do it a lot better. Again, LLM for model, GenAI, and in short, GenAI and knowledge graph better. Thank you.